Oh my goodness, so fun. I just love that intro. All right. Well, have you been wondering what tech news was announced this week? And more importantly, excited about Halloween because we are so excited about Halloween here. Well, welcome to In the Loop. In the Loop, I should say, with Winnie and Greg. I'm the Winnie part of that. As you know, longtime financial pro, CNBC council member, Forbes contributor, and host of Level Up, which can also be found on NASDAQ and a few other platforms. But most importantly, what day is it? Happy Tuesday to you. To my trusty tech guru and co-host Greg Nibbler. Hey, Greg, how you doing?
I am doing great. That intro was amazing. All credit to Curtis on that. That was fantastic. Hi, everybody, for joining. Yeah, I'm Greg Nibbler, tech reporter. I've been doing it for a long, long time, covering all kinds of different aspects of tech, and I'm going to bring you up to date on a bunch of that here today. There's some pretty exciting things that are going on, but I want to hear what you're talking about too, what you want to know about it. We're broadcasting live on all these different platforms, and we just appreciate everybody who joins this show every week. And yeah, we're on Tuesday today, so thank you for being here with us. Along with that, though, as we talked about there at the very beginning, it's Halloween coming up. It's crazy that it snuck up on me this year. I am usually a pretty big into Halloween. I usually spend a lot of time on my costumes. And Winnie, I'm curious for you, is Halloween one of your favorite holidays?
It is totally one of my favorite holidays, but this week was so crazy, Greg. And so, I'm sorry to let you guys down today. But
yeah, I don't have my costume ready yet either. I did snag, just to show how far into Halloween I get. I've snagged a couple of pictures of some past costumes that I've done that I know we've got a couple of them here. I don't know which one we want to show first.
I'm super excited to see these. I'm super excited to see these.
There's this one.
This one's my favorite.
I feel so cheesy with this one, but it's Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. This is what I did a few years ago.
This is so awesome. This is my favorite costume of yours, Greg. I mean, that hair. You got the hair thing going on, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I cut it off since then. Now I'm wondering maybe I shouldn't have done that and kept it. So my buddy owns a photography company called D. Leonidas, and he saw me post pictures of this costume that I had made, and then he put together like this whole photo shoot to go along with it. The secret is, as professional as that looks, it is held together by safety pins with stuff from Joann's Fabrics and the dollar store. So that's what I was able to make out of it. So it looks good on the picture. If you saw it,
does.
You have to look at it exactly right. Otherwise, you're going to see safety pins and like glue all kinds of places.
It's impressive. It's impressive, Greg. I mean, that's no joke.
It was definitely one of my favorite ones. So I had that one. I snagged that one. I also snagged for anybody out there who's a wrestling fan. We had a year where myself and a group of friends all decided to dress up like WWE, like back in the day wrestlers. So that's me as Macho Man on there. The full jacket and the tassels. And I cut off the picture so you didn't see the tights, but I was wearing tights on top of that. So it was a whole thing. Yeah, Hulk Hogan, $1 Million Man in there. So yeah, that one was
very
another
80s there.
Very much so. Very 80s wrestler style. So the Macho Man Randy Savage. That's the only impression I'll do for that. And then the other one that I grabbed is something that I've actually done this. I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the show, but I am a huge fan of Pee Wee Herman. Like I have been since I was
you've never told us this.
I love Pee Wee Herman. Like when I was a little kid, he was like my favorite thing, both the show and the movie. So I've worn this costume probably 2 or 3 different times. That was actually this picture when I used to work for the Portland Trail Blazers. I did a show for them for a few years. This was the Halloween episode of that. It was in front of this haunted house, and I came out as Pee Wee and did the entire show. Not doing the voices Pee Wee in that one. That would get obnoxious, I think, for me doing that for an hour show. But I did do it in the full regalia.
Wow.
So,
the things you learn, Greg.
I like Halloween.
only on In the Loop. And I thank Curtis for not sharing our photos, but we do some pretty fun stuff. And actually, I'm doing something really special this weekend for Halloween. I can't tell you what it is yet, but I
Oh,
promise when we come back together, I'm gonna have photos to share with you. We're really excited. But yeah, Halloween feels very different this year, Greg. I mean,
yeah.
usually it's fun because we get to go, trick or treating with the kids and we all get decked out, but it's just weird. It's an interesting thing. I'm curious for those of you who are joining us, because I do see many of you joining us on the platforms. How many of you plan on giving out candy this year? Because I was kind of doing a survey with some of my team, and a lot of people, it seemed like the overwhelming groups that they weren't giving out candy, and those who were thinking about just putting a bucket of candy at the front door.
Yeah, that's what I did last year. Actually, I was like, whoever wants it, they can come and grab it if they want. I just put it out at the end of my walkway, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, that gives the advantage to the kids who want to take all of it. If they do, more power to them, I suppose. But but yeah, I was kind of that way too. I'm like, this is just a little bit too close to interaction. I'll probably do the same thing this year. I'll just set it out there, and whoever wants it can come and grab it. But since I don't have kids, I don't know what people are really doing. If that's something that people are doing, is going out for trick or treating. I mean, I feel bad for the kids if they're not going to get to be able to, but I also understand.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I have something really special planned
Nice.
for my kids. So I'll update you when we get back. But I
I
think
can't
this is
wait.
this is sort of the year to be creative. Figure things out. A lot of stuff happening. So I'm excited. Halloween is such a fun holiday, and yeah, if only we had a few more days, we would
I
have been
know.
able to prepare for this show.
I know, right? Well, let us know too if you're watching what you're going to go as for Halloween. If you feel like spoiling it, just on here, we won't
Yeah.
tell anybody.
Yeah, Cross X Factory won't tell anybody. Joshua, if you want to tell us what you're going to dress up, I mean, maybe you're going to be going as, I don't know, Jon Snow. We wouldn't hate that. That'd be really cool.
It's a
So
fun costume. I'll tell you that.
it looks like a nice warm costume for sure. I feel like you needed to have a little bit more like stuff right here, like that sort of dread looking, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can only get so much at the fabric store without being a Hollywood costumer. So yeah, it needed a little bit more. So maybe if I
Millboard.
do it
Okay.
again, I'll beef it up. I'll double it up.
Yeah, and I see many of you joining us. I would love for to hear from you. Who do you think Greg should dress up as next? And if you have a costume idea for me too, I'm all for hearing this too, because maybe you could help us plan for next year. What do
I'm
you
in.
think? Who do you think Greg should dress up? I mean, I feel like there's going to be some good ideas out there. So,
I'm nervous and excited.
oh, it can be so much fun. Yeah, I mean, Jon Snow's pretty good. I gotta say, that's pretty up there. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump in because I would love to update you. And I know there's a lot of tech that we want to hear from you too, Greg. So
Mhm.
let's let you know how the market closed. I mean, today was what I would call a pretty blah off day because the Dow closed up 15, NASDAQ closed up 9, S&P up 8. I mean, they hardly even broke the single digits there, so not much going on with the stock market today. But there's been a lot of financial business news that I wanted to put on your radar because, the U.S. Discussed this week, they're going to start contact tracing. I think this is good news because it doesn't seem like we've done that great a job contact tracing. COVID tests, they're now going to be part of international travel. So if you have flights in mind, I certainly do for next year. I'm planning to take hopefully 1 or 2 big trips next year. Well, if you're going to be flying, this is going to change. As of November 8th, the U.S. government expects to allow vaccinated visitors from abroad into the United States here. Now, they're going to require some restrictions, of course, because previously they had some sort of restrictions from visitors from the UK, the EU, Brazil, and many other countries. But now they're going to make it a lot easier as long as you're fully vaccinated. And those who are unvaccinated coming in, whether they be travelers outside the United States or US citizens, you'll now have to show proof of negative COVID tests within 1 day of departure, be able to come here into the United States. That starts in about 2 weeks. Also, the CDC will require airlines to collect and track this information, and that way they can do contact tracing, and they're going to potentially share this with federal officials. So, if you've been thinking, you've been on the fence about vaccinations, this could be the thing that kind of helps push that over. So, this a lot of the airlines like Delta, United, American Airlines, in fact, are saying there's been a lot of pent-up demand. A lot of people are looking forward to traveling. And next year, they said that the transatlantic travel will be a definite surge. And so people are expecting lots of travel. So there's going to be a lot of more vaccination requirements. Now, let's transfer over to another big topic. And I guess this is sort of celebratory if your name is Elon Musk, because Tesla just hit the 1 trillion mark cap for the first time after they announced, also a travel brand here, that Hertz Rent-A-Car is going to be buying 100,000 electric Teslas. Now, this deal comes just about a year after Hertz, as you remember, filed for bankruptcy. It was right when the coronavirus first started, because that was when travel and rental cars, like the demand dropped significantly. Well, now because of this deal, Tesla is joining the likes of Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft in that $1 trillion market. So congratulations to them. Supposedly this deal with Hertz is going to bring in about $4.2 billion for Tesla. I had no idea it was that much money, but yeah, pretty incredible.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, and it just further shows too, the electrification of the automotive industry, and particularly, this commercial side of things, with Hertz buying 100,000. I mean, that's a huge purchase. That means these are going to be everywhere. And I think that's going to probably combine too, because there's some announcements that are just coming out today about building up some more infrastructure as far as charging stations. Like something like this can really push that. So even if somebody's like, okay, cool, Hertz has electric vehicles, I'm not going to rent a car, why would I care? Well, this pushes the industry. So this is important. If you have an electric car, if you want to get one, they're going to have to build up all the chargers a lot more. So you're going to see more of that, more money invested into that. So that's going to make it a lot easier probably to find a charge. I would imagine this is going to be a big, it's a huge boon to the electric car industry.
It's a huge boom. And like, they're already saying that, a lot of Americans are buying Teslas, but less so EV vehicles. But this, I think, is actually going to push that across the board, right? People are going to rent cars, are going to rent Teslas, realize electric cars are actually fun to drive. And there's and more cities across the United States are going to encourage clean energy. So there's going to be enough business for many automakers, and not just Tesla. As I know you've seen the footage coming from Greg's shown us so many cool vehicles already. I'm sure you've got a taste of just what else is out there. But certainly, I agree with you, Greg. I think this is really exciting news, and I'm hoping this, this kind of continues on maybe more quickly. One more piece of news before we transition over, and this is something that I want to share with you. I just finished a satellite media tour with my friends at AFLAC, and I want to share this report because I thought it was really interesting. The 2021 AFLAC Workforces Report they just shared, and they actually noticed, same kind of in the line of the pandemic too, they noted that half of all employees actually, because of pandemic, purchased one new insurance benefit. And during open enrollment, because that's what we're in right now. We're in open enrollment period. And so I thought it was really interesting because talking about how the pandemic has not only impacted how we live, how we travel and everything else, but also even though we're dealing with so much like inflation issues and supply chain issues, and people are worrying, and they're seeing like, I don't know, like my grocery bill has gone up a lot. I'm sure yours has also, but they're still saying that employees are realizing that this is a really challenging time, and they're making a decision to actually spend money to buy another benefit, which I found really surprising. So, I mean, it's interesting that we're in such strange times right now. I think that's it. It's kind of spooky, Halloween theme, right? But yeah, I thought that was important. And just on that note, I mean, at the end, I'll talk about this, but definitely if we want to talk more about it, we're going to talk more about it on Twitter tomorrow for our tweet chat on the same topic tomorrow. But yeah, Greg, so what's going on? I know there's a lot of news this week on tech, right?
Yeah. We've had some announcements. It's not quite as crazy as last week where we had, all the hardware announcements that were coming out, but definitely some things for people to start thinking about. And Apple with Mac right back in the news with the release. This was yesterday, October 25th, of Monterey, this is the new operating system overtaking Big Sur, and this is now out for anybody with a relatively new laptop or a computer that runs Mac OS to update to. I mean, it's within a few years. You may have to double check if you have something a little bit older than that. But yeah, here it is. Monterey OS, and they revealed this earlier this year. It just came out now. We knew it was going to happen in the fall, and it's here. So I want to kind of go through just what some of the highlights are of it, and then maybe talk a little bit about whether or not you should run the update on it, or whether or not it's something that you should be doing. So taking a look here, I've got kind of my list of highlights that I've gone through. Starting off, it's the first update, in over a year that you're going to have, but it's got some new features that'll be part of it. And one of those being FaceTime. For everybody out there who uses FaceTime quite a bit, this is that promised rollout to where now you can start a session on your MacBook and share that FaceTime session with people on iOS and Android. Android being the key there. So all your Android friends now get to join in on your FaceTime session through a web link that it will create. So you can actually send that to people, and then they can join in. Yeah, so that's a big one for everybody who's in that. And also FaceTime's getting updated to be, to be honest, it's getting more Zoom-like. I think it's catching up with some things that it didn't have before, as far as tiling everybody and then highlighting the speaker, some just little tweaks and things that make it more.
Share screen on that, Greg?
I'm not, you know what? That's a good question. I don't know if you can share your screen. I believe that's on its way, because there's something called Share Play, which is also going to be part of it, to where you can share play, like watching other things. That's a great question. Share screen, FaceTime. I will double check on that, and I'll get you an answer to that. See, this is the thing. Since we're live on here, this is how we find out. Sometimes I don't know everything, and then I will figure it out. So please ask away. I'll double check on that. Share play, though, I do know is a feature that's coming, and that's where you'll be able to share music, videos, all kinds of different things through it. So I would imagine like screen sharing will be coming along if it's not there quite yet.
Very cool.
So you've got that. Some other big updates. When you think about coming here for this, you've got Share Play. There's some AirPlay upgrades to where you can now use your MacBook. I'll just use MacBook as an example, but whatever computer that you're using, you can say you're watching something on your phone. You can share that screen to your laptop, so you can share it directly to there. You can use it as a monitor essentially for your phone. You could use it as a separate speaker. If you're listening to something, you can send it to your speaker. And I know the new MacBooks have some pretty good speakers that they're touting, about 6 speakers on them, so the sound could be a lot better on there. So you can share it, just something functionally that maybe right now you're like, I don't know if I would use that, but I bet a circumstance will come up where it'll make sense, where you'll want to actually do that and share that. So that part is a cool feature. And that's another thing too, just that Mac and Apple does so well, which is just the interoperability of all of their different items. It's all part of that ecosystem. And the one that I'm most excited for, that I think is the coolest thing that they showcased, and this is not quite there yet in the update. It's going to be rolling out at some point, but it's part of the Monterey OS. It's called Universal Control. So the way this works is you can set down, so you got a laptop, you got a desktop, you've got your iPad right here, and you set them all next to each other. Well, they're going to be able to all communicate instantly, as long as you have them set up to share, and you can drag across each one of these that would be in front of you. If you imagine all 3 sitting there in front of you, and you can share the screen with them. You could drag something from your iPad onto your MacBook and just drag and drop it. So it's going to make it so easy to use all of these different items in their ideal functionality. Like say you're out there and you get a little bit of video taken on your iPad or something, and you want to drop it into Premiere on your desktop, just drag and drop it. You can drag and drop it right in there. Yeah, that part I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I like how the devices talk to each other. And I got to say, you had mentioned, Greg, of whether or not we should update. It sounds like this is a good update. Are there any reasons we should be concerned about not updating?
There's not really a concern necessarily, but since it just came out, there's bound to be some bugs that could be in there. And this isn't like a security concern, but if there's a particular piece of software that you use a lot, and this is like part of your job or something like that, I'm just using this for an example. I have no idea if there's any issues, and I doubt there are, but if there were, like say, you're using a video editing software and that's what you do all the time, look it up and just make sure that everything's working right, that they've got the bugs worked out, if it's something that you have to depend on day to day. And if they say there's an issue, they'll be fixing that pretty quickly. There'll be updates that'll come out, but you don't have to upgrade. Like if you don't want to try out these new bells and whistles, the previous operating system is going to be perfectly sustainable for a long time. They're still going to be updating that. So it's not like you need to do it, but if you want to try the bells and whistles right now, or you get one of those brand new MacBook Pros, then I would say go ahead and go for it for sure. Otherwise, if you're not worried about any of that, just do the upgrade and try out all the new stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna upgrade one and not upgrade the other and see what happens.
That's a great way to do it. Yeah, yes. Have one as a backup,
Yeah.
just in case, and that you don't have to do the upgrade, but try it out on the other one. I mean, and this is just the start too. So there's going to be more things, and there's actually a lot more to it than even what I just mentioned. There's some new Safari updates as far as how tabs work on Monterey. So I would look it up. There's some great articles out there. Just kind of go through all the minutia that you can do. And it's just the start. So they're going to be adding in more functionality like universal control as they go on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those of you who are watching, if you have your Apple devices, are you planning to upgrade to Monterey? Because this looks pretty interesting. I gotta say, I love the name. I love Monterey here
Yeah.
in California. So it just eludes like dolphins and waves, and so I'm thinking this is gonna be awesome. And I can't wait to check out that new FaceTime. I think that's pretty cool, and I love the fact that they're being more inclusive now to Android users. I mean, that's
Yeah,
really
I think the pandemic helped push that.
Mm.
When they realized that everybody can participate in Zoom or even I think Google Meet or some of the other ones. So like, oh, all right, we got to bring these lowly and people in for a little bit. Let them join the party.
Let them have their emojis and
Yeah, right.
and their those nuances. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So pretty cool. So that's out there now. And if you need to check the compatibility of your book, just go to apple.com. They'll let you know if you need to check and make sure that you can upgrade to it. But if you have one within the last few years, you should be fine. And it'll probably tell you on your device anyway whether or not you can upgrade. So that was a big story this week, and a lot of people testing that out. So I'm sure we'll find out more in the next few days. Something else that was a big topic today has to do with Amazon. And I guess this was yesterday or a couple days ago. They announced some new endeavors for their smart home devices, their Alexa devices. And they've done some of this before, looking at it from a commercial aspect. They put a bunch of them in. I think it's the Wynn in Las Vegas has them. I haven't stayed at the Wynn, so I can't remember exactly, but believe it's the Wynn. And they were looking at hotels, like to add that in is just like something else that you can utilize while you're staying at the hotel. Well, now they're taking that kind of idea and putting that toward senior living facilities and hospitals. So they've signed a few contracts, and to talk about the first one, the senior living facilities, the way it's going to work is each resident will have probably an Echo Show. It's going to be one of the devices with a screen on it that'll be in their room. And they're saying what they can do with those is, it's whoever's working at the facility, they can contact the resident that way. And that way it especially if you think about it, from a pandemic standpoint, it lessens contact and the worry about that. But it also makes it easier for somebody if they just have a quick question or they need to relay some information, or maybe there's a residential wide announcement that needs to be made. This can all come and show up on that device right there. So that's, one aspect of it. The other couple of ones, or if you think about if somebody's in their room and, imagine there's a fall or they need to get a hold of somebody right away. They need to get a hold of somebody who's working at the facility. They can just say it out loud, and that'll instantly contact somebody to get somebody to come out. So that's another kind of, I like that idea of connectivity, of giving people more options just in case something's going on and be able to communicate that quick and get that to them. Then they also talked about, how you can easily do FaceTime calls or video calls rather to anybody that they wanted to call and work on it that way. So I think the potential is there. The potential is there. Now, whether everybody's going to use it or not, or be comfortable with them, that may be another question to see how everybody gets into it. But I think once everybody tries it and sees how easy it is, I see a lot of benefits there.
I see. I love this idea, Greg. I think this is so smart, especially for assisted living facilities and senior living community, because we know sometimes, technology can be very intimidating. But if we learn how to say the natural, commands and whatnot, and you can just say, I purposely, Greg, because of our show, I purposely took the Alexa out of this room, but because we say that so often here. But yeah, imagine if you have senior parents or grandparents, and they can say, Alexa, call Greg or whatever, and it could be that easy. And then if Greg's able to pick up, they can make at least audio contact, maybe video contact. I think seniors would feel like they were more connected with
Yeah.
us, which I think would give them peace of mind. And I love that idea you said, if they needed assistance, right, they could just
Mhm.
call maybe somebody at the front desk. That makes a lot of sense. I can also see this application be impactful in some hospitals, because I know that during
Yeah.
the pandemic, one of the stresses for a lot of people that were in and out of hospitals or acute care centers and whatnot is that lack of having family visitors, right? But then
Yeah.
if you could see them and it would be so seamless, I think this is absolutely a great idea. So kudos for them. I think, yeah, I love this concept of, and like they show the picture of the pet. That's a great one too. If you happen to be out and about, right, and you can talk to your pet, you can
Yeah.
do all sorts of things.
Lots of things with them. I mean, and to your point too, in the hospital, that's a good point as far as talking to relatives or having some kind of connection, but also
Hmm.
to help out both them and the nurses,
Yeah.
because the nurses are certainly taxed and very stressed as
Hmm.
far as how much they're dealing with on a night-to-night basis. This could make it a lot easier to just answer quick questions, check in on someone.
Yep.
If a patient has a question and they don't have to risk exposing each other to anything, and
Absolutely.
and probably a lot quicker response time. You could have, in theory, one person who's just answering those calls
Hmm.
and really get to a lot more people. So I think that's I really like that idea. Like, if it helps improve lives, or the way for everybody, then I think that's a good use case for it.
Well, Robin wants to know what this is called, Greg.
Yeah, so this is part of what they call. Let me get the actual name of it here. You guys are coming up with great questions today, because I forgot. Let me pull it up.
Happy Tuesday.
It's part of the system, Alexa Smart Properties. So it's called Alexa Smart Properties, and that's basically the connection of all of their devices, and that's what they call the overall network. So the way the contracts work is they set up a network with, say, a specific hospital or the senior facility, and then they set them all up with that, and they're all connected, and there would be essentially a central hub that would be able to control all of them if need be. So they're all interconnected. And it's all part of one ecosystem. And Amazon's not the only one doing this. Google is looking into this as well with Google Home, and
Mhm.
they're working
I'm sure
with
Apple, I'm sure everybody's
yeah,
like, it'll
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see, like it'll be really interesting to see how this expands, because I do know, like, once you talk about senior living facilities and you're talking about hospitals and whatnot, then it'll be interesting to see, because a lot of times then they have to transmit data, right? Maybe
hmm
someone needs their medical records or their
yeah,
trust documents or anything like that. If and how that affects, and I know with the healthcare facilities, there's always a lot of talk about like HIPAA provisions and security and
hmm
stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how this evolves. But I think we
yeah,
would all agree, like, the ease of communication, especially for those that are in need of care, that
yeah,
seems like a great idea. And I think we would all support that. Mhm.
yeah. And so you're right. Security is always a concern when it comes to that, and a lot to be addressed there. Uh, if it's an enclosed system, that might make it a little bit better. But yeah, something they certainly have to figure out, and I'm sure they've been working a lot on that security side. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, something they were working on. So
Super
that's
cool. Super cool. That's great
we
news.
we have from Amazon. All right, well, I've got a couple other things that are a little bit out there, but I thought were pretty cool, and I wanted to bring up because you know how much I like flying cars or vehicles,
You do.
and
You like to fly.
I like them. I'm not sure if I want to get in one yet, but I like the idea, and especially if anybody has seen Star Wars, the pod racing scene, that's probably the best part of that movie. But still,
I
the pod
wanted the
racing,
I wanted that Dune, like, I watched Dune this weekend, Greg. You were right.
yeah,
What a great movie. But I really wanted one of those, like, those little hummingbird plane thingies. Those are
yeah.
cool.
How
Yeah.
awesome are those? I know
How
that
awesome.
that looks pretty cool. I don't want to be anywhere near the sandworm, but I do want to fly one of those things.
Yes.
Um, so this is something though you could actually take up in theory if you can get your hands on one. It's from a company called Jetson Aero, and
Ooh.
their vehicle is called the Jetson One, and this is what it looks like. So it's kind of like you're sitting in a drone pod, and the whole aim behind this is a couple of things. For one, it's an electric vertical takeoff and landing, so it's still going on that theme which a lot of companies are working on. It's where it's electric powered, it's battery, and it's completely vertical takeoff and landing. So you have these propellers, You head up. You'll get to see it here in just a second. They put a lot of drama into showing this thing, and it's got all kinds of different sensors on it. You control it with a throttle lever, a joystick, and then some pedals. So you got a couple of different ways you can control it. And this is what it looks like. Check this thing out. It's really small. So it weighs 88 pounds. Single weighs 88 pounds. Yeah, really
That's
light.
light.
Right?
Is it covered? Is there plexiglass around it? Because it looks like it's.
I think it's all open air.
It looks like open air. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is meant for taking it out, kind of like they're showing out in the desert or out in some flat lands, and
so it's like a flying motorcycle.
Yeah. That's not too far off. So you use this thing, and it has LiDAR sensors on it, so it can kind of, if you start heading towards the ground really fast, it's going to know, it can sense its surroundings. It's also got an emergency parachute of some kind that's on it as well. So just in case you get going up.
You never know.
Right. And the other thing, though, that I thought was interesting is that this, at least as far as the FAA here in the US is concerned, this is considered just a vehicle, not a flying car, which means you don't need a license. You can just get this and just head straight up and start flying around with it.
Really? Sadiq said it's $92,000. I mean, I could see some people wanting to buy this for Christmas. Some people who had a good year.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe they'll let us borrow it. But
Sadiq, please pick one of these up. I would be very happy to.
So you don't. Okay, so Greg, you don't need a license.
Mm-hmm.
It's under 6 figures, so I guess people would buy it. Wow, that's
It's about.
I still like having cover though. I don't know.
Yeah. There's that concern. It
What
said
a
it
bug
can
comes.
go up to 63 miles an hour and 20 minutes on a charge.
Oh, that's fun. So, I can see this being really fun, Greg, is because we're upcoming the winter. If you're going somewhere like Utah, or a national park, and you can see the snow and everything, that'd be pretty cool. But then, I wouldn't want to have to use that parachute. I'm just going to say that, though.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't want to do that either. I think it would be fun I doubt this is anything legally that you could do, but to just, tear down the beach with one of these things. There's some wide open beaches in Oregon where you could just fly along the coast. That would be pretty cool.
I know you might scare some surfers there. Cross X Fighter, Joshua, this is actually the JetSim aerial that Greg is showing us, and this is what's on Greg's Santa list, I think, this year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind one of these either. Yeah, but I'd probably put plexiglass around it.
Yeah. I don't know if that would mess up the balance on it. That might
saran wrap then.
There you saran wrap it. Yep. The one thing is, though, they're not making a ton of them for next year, and I think most of them are claimed right now. But with the success, because people are already buying these, because like you said, $92,000 for this kind of thing is actually a lot less than I thought it would be.
There's a market for that, for sure.
Yeah.
I wonder how long does the charge, because you said electric, so I wonder how long the charge lasts.
It's about 20 minutes according to them. So
that's not very long.
Yeah, you're not going to go. You can't fit too big of a battery in there if that thing's only 88 pounds. So I think this is meant you take it out for a tour around, get back, charge it. I don't know how long it takes to charge it. I don't believe they gave that info, and then go again. So yeah, it could be for everybody to get a turn. That could be quite a while.
That could be quite a while. I was hoping it could at least get me to Los Angeles, but I would at least to run for 60 minutes. But
you'd be stuck on the side of the road in that thing.
Yeah, you know what? What's really interesting, because you said it doesn't require a license, but I wonder. I'm sure you can't just be driving this anywhere. It has to be in the boonies like this, right? You can't. I don't think you could drive this along the beach. I just don't see that happening.
I don't think so either. I'm sure there's some rules regarding that. But what
Someone
this
might
falls
shoot you
under,
down.
Yeah. Right. Don't take this anywhere near an airport. What it falls under is the rules of what are called ultralights. So there's all kinds of different contraptions that fall under this that don't require licenses. And there's specific reasons why, and it's the FAA's rules, and everybody can look those up, but this falls under that category. So that's why you don't have to have one. It's pretty cool.
It is really cool. Yeah.
So again, anybody out there who has one of these, please let us know.
Yeah, sounds like Greg wants to take this for a turn, and we want the footage of Greg taking this for a turn.
Yes.
But yeah, you know what, Greg? I just feel like if you get in one of these, can you do our food delivery for the week? I just feel like that would be so convenient.
Yes. fly it around. I'll throw out some burritos and keep on going.
Burritos, I know, taco.
I would throw it out though, and then it would hit one of the propellers. It'd just be a mess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I
think you
know.
want me doing it, but somebody should.
You know, Halloween for the week, you know, you just
Yeah, just throwing out Halloween candy everywhere.
Santa Claus. Oh, that could be your costume. You could dress up as Santa Claus, you know.
Tear around and just terrifying children everywhere. And there's some candy cake.
It's COVID friendly though.
Going 60 miles an hour. Yeah, I could see a lot of trouble happening.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. So I wanted to showcase that.
Yeah, Cross-Tech Spider thinks it's really cool too. So I think he's excited about that too.
Please pick one up. Please get one. So you can check out with the company and see how far the backlog is. Maybe a couple of years before you get one, but still pretty cool stuff. The one other thing too, the kind of a interesting topic that I brought up that I wanted to bring up, because we're talking about flying vehicles. I also love space. We all know that. And this is something else coming from Blue Origin, which has had some issues on the side internally. But what they're trying to do is still really interesting. And this is a space station of their own that they're saying is going to be basically like a business park in space. And it's called Orbital Reef. And the idea behind it is that it would be an industrial and commercial hub. So businesses or somebody can buy docks on there. So you can see it's got a bunch of different docking stations.
Like an Amazon.
Yeah, well, like anybody who wants to go up there and do some work, and I guess they've got some partnerships with Boeing and a number of other companies, so they could go up there, do their experiments or work on things in space, and be the business park environment with a whole bunch of really good views. So like the best office space that you could get, I think is pretty much what it would be, and it's built to be to scale as well. So they could eventually, you know, if it gets in demand, they can scale this thing from there. And they can rotate out a lot of people. I think it's like 10 people at a time right now, which is quite a bit in one space as of right now. Yeah, habitable up to 10 people. And it's all kind of designed with like world-class amenities, they said. So you'll have, I suppose, you know, good food, good space food, maybe. I don't know what that means.
Sushi chef?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you gotta. I don't know about sushi in space. I don't trust the freshness of that. but maybe some good frozen burritos. But then it goes back to burritos. But yeah, that's what they're working on. So they're thinking by the end of this decade. So it's a very broad term, they said, but by the second half of this decade, they think they can have this up there. I think that's a little optimistic, but maybe within 10, 15 years, something like this could very much be a possibility.
Yeah, you know, you're just looking for a change of scenery. You know, yeah, I don't need to go Hawaii to work. I'm not going to go to Europe to work. I'm going to go to space to work. I mean, I feel like that's the thing. You're like working, floating, hanging out.
Yeah. If I can make it work, I'll be doing the loop from this. From up there.
You know, that should be really fun. I'd love to see that footage on that. But imagine, you know how like when I used to do some stuff with WeWork, and you would buy units, you know, $100 per unit. Imagine how much this would cost in space. I don't even know.
I mean, the trip alone is going to be millions of dollars. Just the commute to your office space is going to be a lot of money.
No traffic though. No traffic.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, great views. Great views. You better really like your coworkers in that business space, though.
True that,
you're not getting
right?
away from them.
Can you take your dog, though? That's the question.
That's a good question. I'm not sure to see a dog floating around. I don't know.
Oh, that looks like fun, though. That looks like fun. It looks like they have Alexa there too. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it is. But it's all set up with that. That's true. Probably have all kinds of Alexa smart properties in there. So there will be plenty to go on with that. But yeah, that just an interesting look at what these companies are, you know, working toward, or what their ideas are. Whether it really actually comes to fruition, something like it will, even if this one doesn't. So that's kind of where we're looking at with that. But yeah, those are kind of the bigger stories that I wanted to bring up, because there's a lot more coming up later this week that I was just going to let people know about to kind of follow along with. So Facebook has a big event on Thursday called Facebook Connect, and they're going to be talking about AR and VR and the metaverse, how Mark Zuckerberg wants to take the company in that direction. They're also getting a lot of heat for a lot of other things, as I'm sure everybody's aware.
Yes.
And on top of that, they're going to be doing a company name change. that's probably going to be announced at this thing.
I know. I'm really curious of what they would rename the company because I mean, I know they've got a lot of issues right now. Is a rebrand really going to help change that story? And
Yeah.
also, let's be honest, Facebook is iconic. It's a very iconic name. Is the new name going to be just as iconic, or is the idea sort of to blur them out a little bit? It'll be interesting to see. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's kind of
well,
like what Google did with Alphabet, because Alphabet's now the actual parent company ahead of
mhm.
Google, all the Google products. Yeah, I don't know whether that's going to take any heat off of them. I kind of don't think so. But whatever they come up with as a name, I mean, I'm definitely, it's going to be one of the largest companies in the world. So
Mhm.
whatever the new name is, that's always a big deal.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. That'll be good. We'll catch up on that. We'll look forward to getting that from you when you get back. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So those are some things for people to know about for this week. I just wanted to bring
Awesome.
everybody up to date on.
Well, Greg, before we close up here, I just also want to invite everybody to our tweet chat tomorrow. Hashtag WinnieSun. It'll be on Twitter. We'd love for all of you to join us there. If you've never been on tweet chat, tomorrow's one you'll definitely want to check out. And that will be 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. We've got a great group. We've got our friends from AFLAC. They're super nice people. And just as a special in the loop special for those of you joining us today, if you join us tomorrow and you tweet your heart out, I also know that there's probably going to be some pretty nice giveaways. So
Nice.
definitely join us. Yeah, we always like those fun things. And I know what they are, and I think you're going to be excited about them. So do join us tomorrow, and we're going to talk about open enrollment, so the future of work and what employees want going forward. So if you're around, we'd love to see you there. Absolutely.
Very cool. It's always such a good topic.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
Well, Greg, I mean, I'm excited. This is Halloween week.
I know.
You know,
I know.
we got to get going on working on these costumes.
I know. Yeah. I've got to put in a lot of work. That's a lot to live up to with the Jon Snow costume. I'm realizing I probably shouldn't have shown that. Now I'm like,
That was, I mean,
I don't know if
I'm
I can
really
top that.
curious. I feel like we just watched Dune, Greg. I'm just saying.
oh yeah, I shouldn't have
I
cut my
mean,
hair. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things I could do in there. All right.
Yeah, because the kid with the hair, he had pretty good hair there, and
I mean,
you know,
here's the older version after he's been on Dune for 15 years.
you didn't have to get that thingy, that breathing thing too, because I thought that was pretty cool looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This isn't about, I kind of like where you're going with this.
Yeah,
I'll have to
'cause
see, but I also want to see
jacket-
what yours is.
Well, look at the jacket you got on. I feel like it's in the right color scheme.
Yeah,
It's like it could work. I
I'm
mean,
feeling very
Greg,
royal.
this is kind of cool. Like you're sort of fitting in these really sci-fi, Marvel-y, cool-y thingies.
I mean, I guess it does kind of make sense. It's
No more Pee Wee Herman, Greg.
no more Pee Wee Herman. All right.
I
fair
think we
enough.
should close that chapter.
I don't know. It's difficult, but I'll try to figure something out. I'll figure something out. I'll post about it too. But you have to
Please
post
do.
whatever it is this surprise you have going this weekend.
You'll see when you get back, you'll see.
Okay.
But those of you who are joining us live, I mean, it'll be really fun. And if you're joining us a replay, same thing. Definitely show us what you decided to do for Halloween. Did you decide to dress up? Did you decide to decorate your house? Did you just carve a really amazing pumpkin? Don't be shy. We're like family friends here, right? So you want to see what is it that you do, because I feel like your creativity in this group is pretty high.
Yes, absolutely. I'm excited to see that. And thank you to everybody who's just joining us. As always, we just appreciate each and every one of you, and whatever platform you're on, for sharing the show and for talking about it and reposting it and commenting whenever you watch. It's just always so much fun, and it's so much fun to do this show with Winnie, especially. This is just, it's so great.
It's okay.
Highlight of my week.
Yay! Well, highlight of the week, and so we will come back very, very soon. Definitely stay close, and we'll keep updating you on the new dates and times and all things social. But if you have any questions, on any things that we talked about, definitely reach out to Greg or myself. Our direct messages are always open. But stay safe, and enjoy the candy. Enjoy the candy this weekend.
Definitely. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Talk to you
everybody. Take
soon.
care. Bye.